Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart. Gaahleri has sent me a new Ambition series airbrush. Let's take a look. Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Baron of Dice, premium wargaming dice. Over 500 styles, over 4,000 customer reviews. Welcome to the best dice on the planet. Gaahleri have very kindly sent me a new Ambition series airbrush and compressor kit to have a little look at. In that kit you get the Serenair GTS 06 air compressor, which is one of these small desktop air compressors, very portable, and their classic series CS36 airbrush. I've never tried one of these mini air compressors before, and I've always been a little bit skeptical about whether they would work properly, so I was really excited to try this out because I've enjoyed their previous products. Gaahleri have just relaunched their web store, added some new products on there as well to an ever-expanding range. I've already reviewed quite a few things myself on the channel, reviewed their Mobius 0.2 and 0.3 airbrushes, and then also the GHAC98D. Those three airbrushes now I use for my daily work on the channel, for my commission work. They really are very good. Go and check out those reviews. I'll pop links to those as well in the video now. But the range is expanding. It's very, very good prices. Your cheap airbrush prices, but I believe the quality is much better than a lot of airbrushes in that kind of market. In fact, some of their sort of higher end brushes are extremely good in my opinion. So I'm excited to try this out. I don't think it will be in that higher end area. I don't think it's aimed for that, but I really want to work out whether it's a good thing for people that don't airbrush very often. The Ambition series kit, which I'm going to be reviewing today, which includes the mini compressor and an airbrush, is currently on their website for $69.99. That's US dollars as far as I'm aware. It's not available on Amazon at the point of recording this video. It may well be now, and I'm sure it'll be on their Amazon store very soon afterwards as well. Now, like all Gaahleri products, they're very well packaged. They're good quality cardboard boxes that protect them well. I've always been impressed with that. You always get a quick start guide, which is really simple and easy for someone like me who doesn't like to read lots of text on instructions. Lots of clear pictures, very few words, and not much to it. But it's really good for a beginner as well. Really basic kind of details about how to clean, what kind of thickness you may want to get your paint to, and if it's running too thick or too thin, what the problems may be. Really basic, really straightforward stuff. But if you've airbrushing for the first time, it can be really useful. Nicely all packed away, so your airbrush and your compressor are included in this pack. It's a basic airbrush, but still you've got one included in the set, which is really, really good. It looks to be similar to their entry-level 39 model, the GAD 39, but I don't know exactly where this fits within their range. I don't think it's available to purchase separately. If it has, I've missed that. At the bottom of the range before, the GAD 39, which I've had a look at, and is absolutely great for a beginner brush, only retails at about $35, which is incredibly cheap. So this is a cheaper beginner brush, but as you'll see later in the video, it works absolutely fine, and I would say that it compares really well, and maybe even better than some of those cheapest brushes you get free with your starter compressor sets. Definitely than anything you can get that's maybe siphon fed or it's just really, really cheap. This is fine, absolutely fine. The ones I've reviewed already are far better, and if you were starting, I'd probably recommend those because they're so cheap. But if you want to get this all-in-one set, this is perfectly serviceable, and the quality is absolutely fine. The needle's fine, the nozzle's good as well, and you can pick up replacements for all their needles and nozzles on their website and through their Amazon store now, which is something as a commission painter that does need to replace those things, then that's really, really handy. If you're a casual painter, if you look after them, you never need to do it really. So as I mentioned, you get everything you need in the box. You get your airbrush, you get your hose, you get your mini compressor, the power adapter for it as well. All you need is the paints and thinners and all that other stuff. You've got a range of different PSIs that are preset. You can skip to max or minimum, or just gradually go up between the different settings. You can fit two hoses to it, so you have two different outputs. So if you want two airbrushes of different size needles set up, and they just sit on the side in the little brackets that come with it that just clip in. Those are made out of a sort of silver hardened plastic. They're not metal, but if you look after them, I'm sure they'll be strong enough. The only negative I could find while unboxing it is the adapter cable just isn't really long enough. If you've got to have this on the desk and it's designed for a desktop, it really struggles to reach very far behind a desk to a plug, unless you're kind of only 2 feet away from it, which is a little bit of a shame, but I'm sure you could get a power adapter. Hopefully that's something they look at for future models, which must make it a little bit hard to keep the compressor in picture while I was spraying to show this off today. So it's perfectly usable, and if I have it on the edge of my desk where my plugs are, it's fine, and I'm sure most people would find a way using it. It's not unusable because of that, but it does feel at least 12 inches too short. Could do with being double the length, really, just to make it comfortable. And I'm sure that some people with their setups may find that a little bit an issue, especially if you're using this maybe on your kitchen table. This could be your option for that kind of painting. Then in that regard, if you're using it as a truly portable thing that you set up once in a while, you may not have a plug near enough to you, so you might have to use an extension lead. And it's perhaps an assumption that's the way people will use it, but for me, looking at this, I can see this being a travel setup that will go in people's suitcases if they have to work away a lot and maybe want to do a little bit of hotel airbrushing with care inside a box or something so they don't cover the walls, but also people that don't have permanent setups and want to do a little bit of painting at their kitchen table or something like that. It turns on and off with the button in the center and starts with the default setting of 21 psi, and you can go up by stages at 23, 25, 27, which is max, using the left and right buttons, but also the top and buttons set you to the max and minimum. So the minimum is 15, the highest is 27, and as I said, it goes 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, and then up to 27. At 35 decibels is the advertised size. It's an annoying noise, but it's very, very quiet, much quieter than my larger air compressors, which you'd imagine it's just a small box there. Definitely not so annoying or noisy that you wouldn't want to use it. In fact, going back to that example of hotel use or on your kitchen table, maybe while the kids are playing or the wife's watching telly or something, I would say it's easily quiet enough. It's much quieter than lots of noise my kids make, that's for sure. So I think that's pretty good. It sounds like a small razor or something like that. Really not much of a problem. Much like the last review video what I did, rather than just spraying around on paper, so not really displaying the qualities of the airbrush and how thin the needle can leave a line here, I wanted to show its practical uses. I'm working on commission at the moment of some Night Lords for Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy, and there's a couple of models that weren't in the main batch which I built afterwards, and they needed their base blues put down, so I decided to do it with this airbrush, and I can tell you it was absolutely fine. The control was really good. I'm just on the middle setting here of the 21 psi, which is around what I would normally do for base coating. I don't go super low unless I'm doing details, and it was fine. Absolutely fine. It's not 100% as smooth as my higher end, more expensive airbrushes as their Mobius range, but it wasn't a poor experience at all. It was very, very manageable. Obviously, it's a brand new airbrush straight out of the box, but I found it very, very simple. I had full control, could do what I wanted to do, which is one of the most important things, and it works. And one of the things I always saw with these sort of cheaper, really tiny air compressors is, would they work for paint? Are they just designed for nails, that kind of thing? And as I built up the layers, you can see that I've got the control there. I can aim paint where I want to. I'm not obliterating those darker colors as I'm building up the layers, trying to build up a little bit of a gradient there between the dark to the light, leaving some of that black in, which I do when I paint. You let that boost the shadows, and I'm just slowly layering it up. And yeah, it absolutely worked fine. It makes that noisy buzzing sound, which is quite quiet, as I said, quieter than my normal compressor, but it makes that sound. It's closer to you because it's on the table, but it's absolutely fine. It's just a different sound, I suppose. I'm not sure how well it would last for a full day's use for someone like myself who's painting for 6-8 hours a day at some point, airbrushing away. Even a standard airbrush compressor can get hot during that period. I don't think it's designed for that. So in terms of a recommendation, I would definitely recommend it for people who paint single miniatures one at a time and don't have space to have a full setup and want to crack it out on a kitchen table and just paint a miniature like I have here. I think it will do the job very well, and probably for a long time. If you're going to sit and paint for hours on end, I don't know how long the thing would last. I would fear it would overheat. It's not designed for that. That's not a fault in its design, but I don't think it's designed for that kind of heavy use. So if you're looking for a long-term airbrush setup, then I'd say go for one of the bigger products. But if you're an occasional airbrusher, you want to prime sometimes when the weather is wet or too hot or too cold, this would be great. It would be perfect for that. Want to do some gloss varnishing or matte varnishing, perfect for that as well. Would also be perfect for people who want an airbrush for some terrain, which is an occasional use for a couple of hours rather than doing loads and loads of work. I know there's lots of people that watch this channel who will prime maybe with an airbrush, do a zenithal, that kind of thing, perfect for that, but don't want to use it for all their painting like you see me do here, but maybe want it for some terrain as well, perfect for that as well. Maybe perfect for your teenage child who wants to get into airbrushing but you don't want to spend too much money. And the results really are the most important thing there. You can do a very, very good job with it, and I was very happy with what I finished for my commission work, and it works. And this is one of the most basic setups you can get, very, very cheap, and you can't complain at that at all. So to reiterate, really my only disappointment was the length of the power adapter, just seemed a little bit too short. My only caution would be if you want to do a lot of airbrushing for hours and hours on end, you've got to think about the longevity of the product and what it's designed for. I would say purchase something a little bit more expensive, and so you don't have to reinvest later on. But if you want that occasional use, you just want to prime in bad weather, you just want to do a little bit of varnishing here or there, or you paint one miniature at a time, that's all you do, and you'll spend about half an hour airbrushing and then go on, get your hairy brushes out and carry on as normal. You want a secondary kit, so sometimes you can do a little bit of airbrushing in a hotel if you travel away for work, that kind of thing. Talking about my own experience here, as I work upstairs in my office on the weekend, sometimes I want to do a little bit of hobby. I could use something like this in that instance, just to airbrush something quickly rather than leaving my kids. So my kids are playing computer games or whatever it is, and I can be with them but still do a little bit of airbrushing. If you're airbrushing a single miniature there, you're not going to put so many paint atoms into the air that it's going to be unsafe for people. What you wouldn't want to be doing is doing hours and hours of airbrushing around them. So again, an example like that would be very good for this as well. So it definitely has its uses, especially for people without that space to have a full setup. They don't want to go in and airbrush full armies. Maybe they're not painting massive heresy armies or massive armies of space marines. Maybe they just want to do a bit of a zenithal prime and copy some of the techniques you see on the channel. This could be a really good way of testing out whether airbrushing is right for you without that full big air compressor, buying airbrushes. This is a good way of dipping your toe in. You may find you get the bargain and then buy more kit afterwards as well. Now, I'm not going to be keeping this set as much as I could occasionally use it in the situation I just mentioned. I have plenty of airbrushing equipment, and thank you very much for Gaahleri to send it, but I'd rather pass this on to someone who might use it in a different way. So I will be giving it away to one of my patrons as part of my December giveaway. For those of you new to the channel aren't aware, this year I started monthly patron giveaways, so any of my patrons get entered into the hat to receive the giveaway that month. So far in October when it started, I gave away Bolt Action 3rd edition rulebook. This month we have some wonderful 3D prints and some painting materials from different companies, so Knots Hobbies and Only Create Games as a bit of a bundle. And I'm building my bundle for December, and at the moment it looks like it's going to be this as well, and I'll probably chuck in a few dice and things as well. So if you are interested in getting this set for free and you're not a patron already, do take a look at my Patreon. But aside from that, I'll be interested in hearing what you all think about products like this. Are you surprised like me that actually you're able to paint things for it? And maybe I was just being a little bit snooty having started with a bigger setup. I've yet to try one of the fully handheld ones when the compressor is joined to the airbrush. That will be another interesting thing to maybe try in the future. As far as I'm aware, Gaahleri don't make a product like that at the moment. But this is definitely something that pleasantly surprised me, and I can see it as a really good option for some of you out there. Thank you very much, Gaahleri, for sending me another product to have a look at and share with you all on the channel. I know that many of you are thinking about getting into airbrushing, want to know which devices to choose, which equipment and things. So I'm very happy to do quick reviews like this and just give you an idea of what's out there and how well it works and whether it's suitable for you. Obviously, you make your own decisions about that, but I enjoy playing with the kit. Been using airbrushes for a number of years now through my work, and while this is just my opinion of it, I always enjoy putting it out there for those of you who find it useful one way or another. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it something you think you might use yourself?
Are you looking at other brands or other models from the Gaahleri range? And they do have a growing range now, and a lot of their brushes I think are absolutely fantastic. We've been so impressed with them so far, and I use them for all my daily work. So great stuff. If you haven't already seen the other videos on the channel, there's loads of stuff on there, loads of hobby, loads of painting, loads of tutorials. Lots of game specific stuff as well, loads of Warhammer, the old world, but historicals and things as well. So it's a really good chance you'll find something that suits some of your wargaming likes and desires. And so if you do, give the channel a subscription, it really helps me out. Give this video a like, drop a comment below, helps as well. And if you're a more regular viewer and you'd like to support the channel further, look in the video description, there's plenty of affiliate links, including one for Gaahleri, which gives me a little bit of a kickback, or at least lets them know that you've come to them via me. And also I have a Discord as well, which is free to join and a friendly place to chat about all the games I cover, or any game really, and hobby and things as well. And I also have a Patreon, and there are 4 tiers on that for different levels, from channel support through to tuition. So do check those out if you'd like to support me. But thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.